The struggles you face today were set in motion long before you can remember. Each and every choice, every thought and every intention you've ever had, is quietly shaping the life you're living right now. Paramahansa Yogananda called this the law of karma, a force so precise, so mysterious, it weaves the threads of destiny itself. But here's the part no one tells you. Karma isn't just about fate. It's about freedom, and when you understand it the way Yogananda taught, you discover the power to rewrite your own story. Because karma isn't here to punish you. It's here to wake you up. Stay with me, because once you see what's really going on beneath the surface of your life, nothing will ever look the same again. Yogananda often compared karma to planting seeds in the soil of life. Every thought, every action, every intention, drops like a seed into the ground of time. Some sprout quickly, others may take years, even lifetimes, to ripen. But here's the thing. The universe doesn't forget. If you plant seeds of anger, you harvest more conflict. If you plant seeds of kindness, you harvest peace and opportunities you never imagined. This isn't punishment, it's precision. Karma, Yogananda said, is simply the law of cause and effect written into the fabric of reality itself. Like gravity, it doesn't care if you believe in it. Jump off a cliff, and gravity pulls you down. Act with hatred or greed, and karma pulls you back into situations that teach you, sometimes the hard way, what you haven't yet learned about love, compassion, and truth. But here's where Yogananda's teaching shatters the usual idea of karma. You are not a helpless victim of fate. Karma explains your past, but it doesn't have to dictate your future. Because the moment you awaken to this law, when you start planting seeds consciously, you step into the driver's seat of your own destiny. And Yogananda revealed powerful ways to do this, ways to break free from old karmic chains and create a new life built on wisdom, love, and spiritual clarity. Yogananda often described life as a vast, flowing river. Every choice you make drops a pebble into that river. Some pebbles create tiny ripples. Others create waves big enough to change the whole current. Most of us drift downstream, unaware of the patterns we ourselves have set in motion. We wonder why the same problems return, why certain relationships keep repeating, why success seems to slip through our fingers, why inner peace feels so far away. But karma explains it all. The river carries back to us the energy we send into it. Act with anger, and anger returns in unexpected ways. Act with generosity, and life brings you opportunities drenched in abundance. Still, Yogananda was clear. This isn't about blame or guilt. It's about freedom. Because the moment you become conscious of this law, you gain the power to choose differently. Free will, he taught, is like steering the boat of your life. Past karma may set the current, but your choices today decide whether you go with the flow or fight the stream. Here's the key. Each moment holds the power to redirect your future. The past may explain your circumstances, but it does not have to imprison your destiny. And when you learn to live in harmony with this law, when you stop fighting life and start planting better seeds, everything begins to change. Yogananda taught that karma may shape the stage of your life, but it doesn't have to write the entire script. Yes, the seeds you've planted in the past will eventually bear fruit. Some may be sweet, others, not so much. But through conscious living and spiritual practice, you can lighten the load of past karma and stop planting new seeds of suffering altogether. How? Yogananda revealed 3 powerful keys. 1. Meditation, the ultimate karmic cleanser. When you sit in stillness, when the mind grows quiet, something extraordinary happens. The restless winds of thought calm down, and the waves of past karma begin to settle. He said meditation allows the soul to rise above the storm of cause and effect, to taste the freedom of the spirit, even if only for a moment at first. Over time, this state of calmness seeps into daily life, helping you make wiser choices and break free from old patterns. 2. Selfless service, planting seeds of light. Every act of kindness, every moment of giving without expecting anything in return, plants new seeds of positive karma. Yogananda often reminded his students that serving others isn't just moral, it's transformative. It literally rewires the energy you send into the world. And 3. Right action and right thought, the art of conscious living. Most karma comes from unconscious habits. Words we speak without thinking, judgments we cling to, choices made in anger or fear. Yogananda taught that bringing awareness into every moment, watching our thoughts like a silent witness, slowly untangles the knots of the past. When you meditate daily, when you serve with an open heart, when you choose love over hate, forgiveness over revenge, you are rewriting your destiny one decision at a time. And as this karmic weight begins to lift, something amazing starts to happen. Life itself begins to feel lighter, freer, more filled with grace than struggle. Yogananda often said that to be truly free from karma, to step beyond the endless cycles of cause and effect, we must walk a path of liberation. This path isn't about escaping life or running from responsibility. It's about awakening to a higher truth and discovering the freedom that has always been within you. He taught that surrendering to the divine doesn't mean giving up your power. It means aligning your will with something infinitely greater than your small self. When you stop resisting what life brings and begin to trust that there is a deeper intelligence guiding your journey, a quiet grace enters your heart. Resistance creates new ripples of karma, each act of defiance against what keeps us bound. But surrender opens the door to freedom. Meditation was the tool Yogananda most often pointed to for lifting the weight of karma. In the stillness of meditation, the restless winds of thought begin to slow. The mind becomes like a calm lake, and in that silence, you start to see your inner patterns clearly, the judgments, fears, and desires that have silently shaped your choices. Awareness itself begins to dissolve them. But Yogananda also taught that it is not enough to sit in silence. We must live in the world with awakened consciousness. This is why he spoke of karma yoga, the art of acting selflessly, without attachment to the outcome. When you serve others, when you give with no thought of reward, when you work with love rather than fear or ambition, your daily life itself becomes a spiritual practice. Each act of kindness plants seeds of light that will one day blossom in ways you cannot even imagine. Forgiveness, too, is essential on this path. So many souls carry the weight of old grudges, regrets, and disappointments. Yogananda explained that to forgive is not to approve of wrongdoing, but to free yourself from the chains that bind you to the past. With compassion and understanding, you begin to see that every soul is struggling under some burden of karma. This realization softens the heart, allowing you to meet life with love rather than reaction. Through constant self-reflection, you start to witness your own thoughts and motivations. You notice when fear tries to guide your actions, when anger slips into your words, when pride whispers in the background. But instead of judging yourself harshly, you learn to see clearly and choose differently. Awareness gives you the power to plant new seeds in the garden of your life. And finally, Yogananda reminded us never to forget devotion. Beneath all the teachings, beneath the practices and philosophies, lies the simple truth that we are souls longing to return to the divine. Through prayer, chanting, and opening the heart to God's presence, the illusion of separation begins to dissolve. And when that happens, when you feel yourself as part of something boundless and eternal, karma itself begins to lose its hold. This is the path of liberation. It is not found in grand gestures, but in the quiet choices of every day, in surrender, meditation, service, forgiveness, awareness, and devotion. Walk this path sincerely, Yogananda promised, and the chains of the past will slowly fall away. Life will no longer feel like a series of repetitions and burdens. It will begin to open into freedom, into peace, and into the realization that your true self was never bound at all. Here are some practical tips for meditation, forgiveness, and conscious living. Yogananda's teachings were never meant to stay locked in books or temples. He wanted people to live them. So let's take these big ideas, meditation, forgiveness, conscious living, and see how to bring them into the quiet rhythm of daily life. Let's start with meditation. Yogananda said meditation is like bathing the mind every day. Just as the body collects dust and needs cleansing, so does the heart and the mind. The first step is simple. Find a quiet place. It doesn't have to be fancy. A corner of your room, a spot in the park, anywhere you won't be disturbed. Sit comfortably, spine straight, shoulders relaxed. Close your eyes and just begin with your breath. Don't try to force the mind to be quiet. That only stirs it up more. Instead, watch the breath like a curious friend. Feel it come in, feel it go out. Yogananda often suggested silently repeating a word like peace, or God, or even just listening to the sound of your own breath as it flows. At first, the mind will jump around. That's okay. A restless mind is like a shaken jar of water. If you let it sit, the dirt settles and the water becomes clear. Meditation works the same way. Start with 5 minutes, Then 10. Build it into your day like brushing your teeth. Over time, those few minutes become a space where the world grows quiet, where old karmic storms begin to lose their power over you. Now, let's talk about forgiveness. Forgiveness doesn't mean saying what happened was right. It doesn't even mean you have to let someone back into your life. It simply means you release the inner grip of anger and resentment so it stops poisoning you. One simple practice is this. When a painful memory arises, instead of pushing it away, picture the person or the situation in your mind. Take a deep breath and silently say, I let this go. May we both be free. You might have to do it 100 times. That's okay. Each time, the chain gets a little weaker. Yogananda taught that forgiveness is really for your own freedom. The moment you release the bitterness, you stop carrying the past into the present. And then there's conscious living. Living in a way that plants seeds of good karma rather than suffering. This is where awareness comes in. Start paying attention to small choices. The tone of your voice, the thoughts you repeat to yourself, the way you react when things don't go your way. Ask yourself in those moments, am I acting from love or from fear? Am I adding peace to the world or more conflict? One practical way is to pause before speaking when emotions run high. Just a breath, just a moment of stillness before you act. That single pause can stop you from planting a seed you'll regret later. Yogananda also encouraged selfless service, not because it looks holy, but because it shifts your focus off the little self and onto the greater good. Smile at a stranger, help someone without being asked, offer a kind word even when no one notices. These small acts send ripples of goodness into the world. And finally, live with gratitude. Before you sleep at night, think of 3 things, no matter how small, that you're grateful for. Gratitude softens the heart. It rewires the mind toward love instead of lack. If you practice these 3 things, just watch how life slowly shifts from chaos to clarity and from heaviness to light.